Just want to make sure my stuff works here. And I've got a good clear sound, so I can't like bumping everything. You ready, hon?
Yeah.
Ready for.
We're gonna do just a little just chatting thing,
Ah,
and we're basically this is the final closeout for Once Human, and just give me 1 second to.
okay. I'll be nice and quiet.
Yeah.
Because I always say what we really want to say.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, we are. Yeah,
I don't really do what.
Do want to say it, but we know we don't have to.
Really want to, but we shouldn't.
Yeah.
ready, hon?
Yep.
All right, folks. Thank you for joining me for this sort of farewell session of Once Human by Starry. Okay, sorry about that. It seems that we are having some technical issues here. So, in light of the technical issues, if you guys are seeing this, and you should see this for the next couple weeks, we are going to go ahead and we're going to just part ways from the game Once Human by Starry Studios. The purpose of this particular stream is to tell you whether the game's actually worth it or not, and go over some of the highlights and some of the highs and lows that the game had to offer. So let's talk about the pros of the game. For one thing, the graphics are absolutely beautiful. The sound score I actually rather did enjoy. When I was able to enjoy it, I did like the idea of the radio stations and the music that was playing because it seemed more in keeping with the current theme. Um, the character designs I enjoyed that because they really did add kind of like a unique flavor to every character. And being able to mix and match different outfit pieces allowed for unique styles to be had. These were all things I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the concept of the storyline, which was this post-apocalyptic situation where this evil corporation is trying to take over, and you got to put a stop to it. Um, the the treachery between Mary and the May and the Mayflies really was definitely something I didn't originally see coming when the first time I played this game. However, moving on the second and third play on a second and a third playthrough, I at that point it kind of just lost its wonder on me. Um, Those were some of the good highlights. Like the storyline could some of the cutscenes could have been done better. But altogether, the storyline is a wonderful concept, and it's definitely an idea and has the potential to become an amazing game. Having said that, here is a lot of the cons to the game. Number one, base building is too restrictive. I can understand making an outline of this is how far you can build out, this is how far you can build up. That's fine and well and good. Because server space wise, that sets a precedent of how much data could be used in terms of the server. However, the restriction on power, on being able to build an adequate power supply to power the things that we needed, the fact that we had to split our hive up because certain resources weren't available everywhere. If we wanted to start a source, we had to go to a polluted area to use certain features. In order to use the deviant generators, you have to go to a polluted area because it uses the atmosphere. Although, considering the fact that starfall happened and it's polluted in the water, why couldn't we use those generators in the water? If we have to filter that water to make clean water so it's safe to drink, and we can't use the dirty water that we're already getting to say power those generators, what's the point of having them? Okay, it doesn't make sense.
Well, what about, for instance, the water pumps themselves? You put them into a place where there's water and there's oil. You'll get oil. You don't have a choice.
Mhm.
Okay. And it's that kind of stuff that's annoying where you don't have a choice.
There should be a separate. There actually what there should be is you should have like the water pump should pump water, hands down. There should be a separate pump specifically for oil, or that it will put like you can use this, you make it a different color, but and have it do the same thing, but let it pump just oil. And those resources should be available everywhere. You should not have to go to one particular spot to get that resource.
Except maybe something like oil. Okay, you might want to go to a place this is oil. So we can do that in real.
Okay, but well, hold on. Because oil doesn't just exist in a desert area, which is where those oil fields are. You should be able to get oil, say, in a jungle somewhere. You should be able to get oil from an arid climate. You should be able to get them from other. I'm just saying, like, we shouldn't have to go to severely polluted areas to use certain things.
More varied environments, more varied climates. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. Also the base restriction on power is rather annoying, but also the fact that we're limited in builds where either I have what I need to get the resources I need, but I need this. I literally had to max out my generators to be able to do what I was doing, and I think I was like, what was it, two fridges, the stove, the one refinery that I originally had that I got rid of, but it was 4 mining platforms. And the problem I had in the oil fields was that on the when I was moving the mining platforms around, I'm in an area heavy with tungsten, but tungsten was never an option. It was literally strictly iron. It was only iron.
Yeah.
Those that mining platform needs to be rewritten to showcase all of the ores in that area. So if tungsten's not available in, say, Broken Delta or in Dayton Wetlands, that's fine. But if I go to Iron River, where the spot in Iron River where we were at in the oil fields was thick, and I do mean emphasis on thick, with tungsten, ironically enough, then tungsten should have been an option instead of just iron. That's ridiculous. Combat play. Let's get into the combat play. Now, I like the idea of combat builds. I have always loved this notion because it can give you a very competitive edge on NPCs as well as players. What I don't like about it is you're telling me that the level cap is 50, but your instance is 60.
Yeah.
And even with 4 level 50s at max gear, and we still couldn't beat up Mannheim. We still couldn't beat up, despite using the builds we were using.
Yeah.
and we still couldn't do it. And there's videos on YouTube of people being able to solo these things by using specific items and specific skills. But then when those videos get turned over to the studio who created this game, the developers, somehow that shit got nerfed.
Yeah.
Because God forbid somebody figured out a way to give players an edge. I went in there tonight in a Fortress Warfare build that didn't do shit for me. It didn't do a damn thing. I went in there, I then turned around, and that was on pro mode. And we barely got the boss down like a little bar. We went back in there on hard mode. We managed to get him down to like the last 2 bars, and then we tanked, and then it just tanked because we were running into problems. And it seems that at level 50, you don't send if 450s go in there after a solitary level 60, we should have been able to ace that.
Mm-hmm.
With the gear that we had, with the way that the game forces you to spec completely out, even if you're at a calibration 6 or a calibration 5, we still should have been able to go in there and spank and tank the boss, at least the boss that we were working on. I'm sorry, there's too much of an imbalance there. There's way too much of an imbalance of power on hard and pro modes. And then on top of which, if you check the seasonal goals, we're supposed to be able to go in there on pro mode solo without getting critically injured and beat the boss. If 4 people at level 50 can't do it, there is no effing way that a solitary person on pro mode can do it. And I think what I was seeing was people are finding a way to mod the game, maybe.
Cheat, basically.
There somehow the system that these people who are putting out these videos, they're cheating the system somehow in some way.
Or they're finding what do we call it? They're finding not a cheat, but they're finding a loophole or a way to beat it. And as soon as they publish it, Starry Studios comes out with a fix for that.
Yeah.
That's the word right now. That way
They're
around
gaming
it.
the system.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that's figured out, so Starry Studios will fix that. Be right on top of that. Fix that. So then everybody else who watches that video or finds out about that way around it, they can't.
Exactly. So having said that, there's too much imbalance in the game. We also experienced inventory issues where stuff of ours was disappearing in our inventories.
Yeah.
We were experiencing other inventory issues where people's garages were being blasted off their homestead, off their territories. The problem here is that the creators of Once Human are shoving so much new crap, new cosmetics, new events into the game, but they're not fixing this stuff. And then on top of which, they recently announced a launch for the mobile version.
Mm-hmm.
And cross-platforming into now they said that there as far as cross-platforming into consoles, there has been no release date issued for console play. However, for PC and mobile, that's being done, and the release date's roughly around April. I'm gonna say this right now: this game is not worth it. It's not worth. I'm about to go cancel my pre-registration for the mobile version because I don't see myself coming back into it. Way of Winter was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. I did not see the end of that story. I did not get to finish that story. I feel that Once Human is trying too hard to be like Fallout 76 and 7 Days to Die. I'm going to be really, really honest. I understand it's a free-to-play game. You get what you pay for. The problem is that Starry Studios and the creators of Once Human have created what has essentially been referred to by many as a cash cow. They poured just enough to get players in, but once players realize how repetitive it is and where the imbalances are in terms of combat builds and the lack of being able to build strategically for solid base builds, at which point I also saw the imbalance in there because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but if you go to some of the polluted area, there's a polluted area on our world the one that we normally use to farm the Stardust source.
Yeah.
There is a building that is bigger than my base and your base put together, and that's having our bases maxed out at capacity. So I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing where I can only do an 18 by 18 grid, where I'm seeing people where I've counted it and it's like a 20 a 30 by 30.
Yeah.
And that's not something that there's a huge imbalance there. And a lot of these people that are playing in these servers look like they were members of the beta testing team. So they've got special extra little privileges that are not granted to the rest, when realistically they shouldn't be granted those extra privileges whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just because you're a beta tester doesn't mean you should get extra privileges. I never got them, and I've beta tested many a fine game.
Yeah.
Fallout being one of them. So there is that. So in the end, there's just too many glitches, too many errors. On top of which, you saw, guys, if you were watching the stream earlier tonight, it not star once human literally knocked out my microphone, my headset, my speakers. It knocked everything out. Having a game being run as an administrator is not a very comfortable thing to see. I don't even have that with Fallout 76. Bethesda Studios does not take over my computer and mess with my shit. I'm going to be really brutally honest. Yes, it is free to play. You get what you pay for. It's not worth it. And if I could get a refund on all the money I've poured into it, I would get a refund. The cosmetic packs, they're cute. It's cutesy fancy shit. It's not really worth it. It doesn't really enhance the game any. It just makes your base look really nice. The clothing cosmetic packs I did just to kind of showcase some of the stuff that they had there. Frankly, it's not worth it. It's not worth the top ups. So basically, in the end, this game is not worth the time or the gravity that it had gotten from me for the past month and a half. Will I ever go back to it? Probably not. Not until they fix their shit.
If they fix all the glitches and problems and things like that, it would be a great game. But they've got to fix the problems.
Also, they need to stop with this 6-week scenario crap.
Yeah.
Open up the damn map. Okay, if you want players to stay, open up the map. Don't just do Way of Winter and you can only be over here, and you give players the option to be where they want to be. Give players those options to be able to play in the Way of Winter storyline, but maybe just allow them to leave their bases where they are. I think, that ways you can, that ways players have more power to adjust that level of that level of like harsh environment, or otherwise learn how to translate Celsius to Fahrenheit, because at 0 degrees Celsius, that's 35 degrees Fahrenheit, and hypothermia is not going to set in at 35 degrees. Hypothermia might set in at like 0 degrees, or a true 0 degrees, or it might set in at like in a negative number. But I should not be dying in my base when I'm standing literally in face first in the heater on a chair with my face in the heater with hot rocks in my backpack and a heater lamp, a portable heater lamp on me, and I'm still taking damage from hypothermia. Again, there's too much imbalance in the game, and the fact that the developers made a cash cow game really just absolutely disgusts me. I'm going to be leaving further information on my Steam review for this game, and we're pretty much done. We're going to be moving on as of tomorrow night. We are moving on to Bethesda's Fallout 76 on a private server. This is by invite only. If you'd like an invite, feel free to get an active paid subscription. For the server that I have is only for paid members of my channel. So y'all have a great night. I'm pretty much done. You done?
No, I'm done.
Ray, anything you want to add?
Nope, I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good night, folks, and we will see you next time right here on Real Bites Gaming. Have a good night.